In this episode,
you did the same thing that they did. He's saying that you repeated a pattern, but you're not in it at all now. So he's really proud of you. Trust your judgment. This was a karmic relationship. You have excellent taste. Don't worry that you made this choice. That's what she's saying. And you went into that marriage refusing to get a divorce in your head. You were never going to get a divorce. Meant to be to teach you about really owning what you need, right? And really allowing your needs to be important, not let somebody else decide for you what they're going to be. Ever since I was little, I had a strange and uncanny ability to know things about people. But when I was 19, I was the victim of violence, and I had a really strange out-of-body experience. The worst day of my life became the best day because it left me with an ability to help others in a really deep and meaningful way. I'm able to connect and communicate and share messages from our loved ones who've passed on and are part of spirit now. And it's all about hope, healing, forgiveness, and most of all, love. I'm Colette Baron-Reid, and I'm here to share messages from spirit. I don't know which side of the room this belongs to, but I've got somebody on the other side that had a deviated septum and had a lot of nose operations. So does this make sense then?
Yes.
Okay. Is this your husband or a father, or if it's somebody?
Father.
Father, okay. Oh, did your parents separate?
Very early.
Yes, okay, so you had another father, he says.
Yes.
It's interesting about the nose stuff because I think you wouldn't have recognized him anyway because you didn't see him for a while.
Well, my parents were divorced, and so we would see each other on holidays and sometimes on weekends and things like that.
But not a lot though, right?
No.
Yeah, because
No.
I'm saying, did you live in like 2 hours apart, or was there?
We were very close, but we didn't see each other a lot sometimes.
Okay. Why is he going apart? Have you also separated? Does this make
Yes.
sense? I get what I'm seeing from your dad because he's saying that you did the same thing that they did. He's saying that you repeated a pattern, but you're not in it at all now. So he's really proud of you. So he wants to say how you really changed. And you have changed the entire pattern for the whole family. Do you understand this?
I do a lot, yes.
Yeah, what I'm saying. So he wants to say that he can't take any credit for it.
Wow.
At all. That you were the most normal person in the family,
Wow,
too.
that's
Does that make sense,
big
though?
praise, yeah.
Yeah. You really, really became very conscious of the pattern and your own emotional content, and that especially through your divorce, because he's saying a divorce. You have
Right.
2 kids with that marriage?
I have 2 marriages, 2 kids from the first marriage.
He's still only talking about the first marriage,
Oh.
right? Yeah, so he's talking about the
I thought I
marriage.
married the same guy twice, though.
Well, you did sort of.
Yeah.
You got a much better version the second time. The second, because there's 3 marriages that I'm tuning in here to, so you may not have had the third yet, but you're definitely going to have a third marriage, and you've done whatever you did after the second divorce or the second separation, because I don't feel you're finished with that, this divorce.
I thought I really was. I was thinking that I'm on the track of being done with it, so.
Okay.
Yeah. But there could be leftover residue. You never know.
Okay, so Detroit. I don't know why I'm looking at Detroit now all of a
We're
sudden.
from Detroit.
Oh,
Both of us. Yeah.
bingo. But now he wants you to forgive the second husband because the second husband did more damage to you than the first.
Right.
So, and it's funny because before I thought he was an improvement, but he was in some ways, but I think that's why the damage was worse in the second marriage
Right.
because there was so much promise there.
There was.
And there was a reverting back to old behaviors and betrayals during the marriage. You're done with the pattern is what they're saying. So you can actually trust yourself again because I think what happened in the second marriage is that you stopped trusting yourself. Is that true?
It's true, right?
Right. So there's somebody by the name of Joe. Does that make sense?
No.
No?
But I used to date a Joe that was probably like the perfect guy, and I let Joe go.
But actually, but to be honest with you, I am seeing a living person, and maybe Joe is a harbinger, that relationship, that person that you weren't ready for, a nicer man like Joe. Joe wasn't right, otherwise he'd be with you, right? So.
Right.
Like that, because you mistake gentleness for weakness, or you used to,
Right.
and you don't anymore. And I think that Joe was too nice, right? So there was a sense of nice guys aren't the right guys.
Right.
So, but you're ready for a nice guy now, like a Joe.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lake, so not Detroit, but a place by a lake. What does that mean to you?
I live right outside of Detroit on a lake.
On a lake. Okay, great. So that's a great home
Right.
for you. It definitely looks like you're going to fix it up a little bit, though, because
It's a
there's a
big
lot wrong with it.
Yeah.
There's a lot wrong with it. But it's good feng shui for you in some way, living by the lake or whatever.
It's very good for me. I love living by
Yeah,
the lake.
you're not
right.
meant to be in a big city. You're too sensitive. So anyway, and the kids are growing up now. They're like in their
Yeah.
late teens, ready to go off to college. So it's like sort of like when the empty nest happens, you'll let the guy in, is basically what I have to say. You're welcome.
The first marriage, I kind of broke my heart, but I got over it, and I got married again, and I just recently ended that relationship, just got divorced about 3 weeks ago, and we were together 17 years, and that one actually really did break my heart, so that one hurt a lot. But I realized something along the way is that the second guy was a lot like the first guy, and I think somewhat like my dad. And so it's kind of like that pattern, and she talked about the pattern there, and that the pattern's now broken, and that was the end of it.
Coming up, Yvette connects to her grandfather.
He's claiming that your father adores you, loves you so much, and is a tough cookie because he always wants to just protect you.
In this reading, Yvette connects to her grandfather.
So the person that wants to connect is definitely to do with a lot of dust. So we're looking at a quarry. We're looking at, it could be a mill, but it felt more like not bricklayers, but cement. You know when they make cement out of stuff? Does that make sense?
Yeah, my grandfather.
Grandfather. He owned a cement business.
Yes.
And are there half Europeans, half?
No, they're Yugoslavian, but they're from a small German town.
Yes, Germans, Yugoslav. That's interesting. So you say Yugoslavian. So was there intermarried between Croatians and Serbians in your family? Or a mix?
My dad
Slovenian?
my dad is. They were called the Donoschwobian, and they were a mixture.
A mixture, I see.
And my mom's Hungarian.
Yeah, you're a mix. Your dad is still alive.
Yes. Yeah.
So this would be your grandfather on your
My
mother's
dad's side.
On your dad, but there's also a grandfather on your mother's side too that's
Right.
passed, because I see two
Right.
men on the other side, both of which were similar temperaments, very difficult people.
Yeah.
Your father was very, very tough, but you were like the apple of his eye.
Yes, I would say.
Very
yes.
controlling. Is
Yes.
this old man
Yeah,
over here
my
is saying that
grandfather,
I
yes,
yes,
absolutely.
okay, let's call a spade,
Yeah.
okay? Because the father is saying that the family went through a lot of hardship. Now you can say that about anybody that comes from that country that emigrated, because anyone who emigrates from another foreign country had a hardship. But in this case, it was really difficult because they were outcasts at some point. Does that make sense to you at all? So I don't know
Yes.
how they were, but this was very, very difficult burden for your family to have, because the most important thing was that they assimilated into society, and they had a hard time doing that. So they were very displaced when they came here. There was a lot of shame there for your grandfather about this. He's claiming that because your dad is still alive,
Yeah.
so he's claiming that your father adores you, loves you so much, and is a tough cookie because he always wants to just protect you. But he's saying it's because also he saw so many awful things. They are just overprotective. They were like wanted to keep you in a little box when you were growing up. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes. So he wants to just to say, acknowledge that, not to blame your parents for being so strict, but it was what they taught them.
Up next, Yvette connects to her mother.
mom has this issue about being heard, right? So because no one was allowed to hear her at all growing up. So this is an issue at the table at home and has been an issue for you. And he's claiming that he should have never silenced her.
In the second part of her reading, Yvette connects to her mother.
Now, the other one was an alcoholic that I'm picking up with. So do you understand this is your mom's dad?
My mom's dad, I didn't know because he passed away before. But yeah, he was very...
He was abusive, he's saying.
I think he was very strict, yeah.
Yeah, but abusive strict, like no one was allowed to open their mouth.
Yes,
Right, so
definitely,
your
yeah.
mom has this issue about being heard, right? So because no one was allowed to hear her at all growing up. So this is an issue at the table at home and has been an issue for you. And he's claiming that he should have never silenced her, and your mother's still alive.
No, my mom's passed.
Oh, she feels very alive.
I feel her around me all the time.
Yeah, okay, so she feels very, 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 but the legacy is what we're talking about being silenced and you also being heard. If your mom has passed, let me ask you this then, did she pass in 1998?
No.
Who passed in 1998? What was the big loss in 1998?
That's when I got married.
Oh, okay, so they...
Sorry.
No, but you know what, though, I understand that. If your mom was still alive then?
Sorry?
Your mom was still alive then?
Yes, she was,
Well,
yes.
then she would have lost her baby at 1998. That was a big deal, right? Because you were much closer to the family. Yeah, for her it was a big tragedy.
True.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
This has got to be your mom. All right. So the message is around the loss is don't, because she wasn't really that excited for you. She was like trying to control the whole experience, right? Because I think she's apologizing for what she did at your wedding. So, does that mean anything to you at all? Or around the wedding? Was she really hard to deal with?
No, I just think like she would always support me whatever I did, but I think she kept her mouth quiet when she
she
should
did
have said
me,
something.
But
Yeah.
to you, she did.
What? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, because she told me everything that she
Right.
didn't tell her. Yeah.
Okay, so then you can tell her everything that she's trying to apologize for then because because the whole schmuzzle in 1998, she's actually feeling bad about it now. So if were you like cousin, sister, best friend? Is
Best
that
friends.
So I know you said, oh, she'd support me no matter what. No, she's saying that isn't totally true. Like you didn't really know me then. So, but she's changed her tune now that he's proven himself. Do you understand this?
I'm a little confused on who's proven themselves. I'm not sure.
Didn't you get married?
I did.
And did you divorce?
I'm in the process of divorcing.
Right, he's
Yeah.
proven himself.
Right. Oh,
Right?
I understand. Yes.
You get it? Because she told you all
Yes.
about how she felt
I
about him,
understand.
Yeah.
right? Right?
Yeah, and she wouldn't do that to her.
No, but
because
you
she
had
was-
to be the
yeah.
recipient of all that information
But
all
it was
this
good.
time.
It was good.
So now she's really supporting you.
Okay.
Get it?
Oh,
Verbally out
absolutely.
loud.
Yeah.
Right? So you no longer have to be the secret holder of the family. So her being quiet, and it was like a codependency thing, right? See what I'm saying? Adult child of an alcoholic, right? Doesn't speak, doesn't get heard. She's apologizing for the wedding because she let it happen and she told you all about that and wanted her not to be, but you had to go through this. You had to go. You have another one coming, she's going to pick him for you.
That's good.
Yeah, and she said she'll do it better this time. I don't know why did she steer him to you? No, because she didn't like him. She's like saying she thought he was going to do what he did in the end. He's proven himself. Everything, you understand this when I say this to you, everything she told you, he has now proven himself to have done all those things, right? Trust your judgment. This was a karmic relationship. You have excellent taste. Don't worry that you made this choice. That's what she's saying. This isn't a legacy thing. In many cases it is for many of us. In your case, you just trust your intuition because you had your own doubts and people should have said something. But so be it, right?
My mom and I were like best friends, and she passed away 4 years ago. She had a brain hemorrhage, and so it was sudden. She was asymptomatic, so it was quite traumatic for all of us. I think I'm pretty quiet. I keep everything. I don't, sometimes I try to protect everyone's feelings, and sometimes when I should say something. I don't. I generally keep quiet, and I think that's one of the things that I did in my marriage for 22 years is I sort of kept quiet when I shouldn't have.
Still ahead, Julie connects to her grandparents.
When you were 36, what was the big major life change? They're pointing out there was, your life changed upside down forever.
I left my husband.
Oh, good. Okay, they're like all happy about
Yeah.
that. Okay.
In this reading, Julie connects to her grandparents.
I'm seeing a big C. Let's just find out what the C means then. Maybe it's not your family background. Does it mean anything to you that C and love go together?
See and love.
C and love.
Not that I can think
And
of.
older people love.
Catanzaro. That's the town that they were from.
So they were from a C?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Hello. Okay. Old people from a C, and that's where they fell in love. Are these your grandparents or your parents?
My grandparents on my father's side.
And they spoke a dialect that was different than Italian?
They didn't speak real Italian.
Real
Yeah.
Italian, right? Yes, they're saying it's not
dialect.
Italian. That's why I thought I was hearing Hebrew or something, because it was, when I looked at you, I went, not Italian. Wait, I'm not hearing Italian sounding words. They had a weird speaking language there.
They did.
How old are you now?
43.
Okay, 6 years ago, when you were 36, what was the big major life change? They're pointing out there was, your life changed upside down forever. It was a good thing on one hand, and it was like, oh boy, I got a handful here. What does that mean?
I left my husband.
Oh, good. Okay, they're like all happy about that. Okay. I understand the handful too. There was like a handful. It felt like he was a handful. The whole thing was a handful, right? So you started your life again, makes sense at that age. And it's interesting because they never divorced. They didn't believe in it, so you had to annihilate that marriage or annul it or something. So there is a second marriage that I'm seeing here. So I think you have met this person already. This is good. They're really happy. And is this making any sense to you at all?
Well, I have met somebody, but
It's
to
still
hear
early?
you say that, thank you. I love you for that.
I like
I'm
it.
hoping.
Well, I think it's going to go quicker than you think. I think this is a really good match. Who had a manufacturing plant? What does that mean?
My father worked at a manufacturing plant.
And he's passed also?
He has,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So he's also, the manufacturing man loves him too. So no pressure when this comes on television. But your whole family over there is saying, finally, because you're very lovable. Now I can say that to anybody, but you really didn't understand why, because you put in so much effort and energy since you were 27 in that marriage. Is that when you got married?
That's
yes,
exactly
27.
it, yeah.
Yeah. And you went into that marriage refusing to get a divorce in your head. You were never going to get a divorce. So this was for you the biggest, most horrific handful that you had. So it was meant to be to teach you about really owning what you need, right? And really allowing your needs to be important, not let somebody else decide for you what they're going to be. And this new guy is still strong. He's a strong character. You like strong guys, right? He can be but he's a big softy at heart and would never, ever, ever cross your boundaries or abuse you. That's what they're saying. So bravo for you.
Thank you. My Italian grandparents were both Italian, both from the same town that started with the letter C that Colette had mentioned. It was a region in Italy called Calabria, and they were from a town in that region called Catanzaro. And they spoke a dialect of Italian dialect called Calabrese. And so why they liked my new boyfriend, because I think he's good for me, and they pick that up, I guess. They see that he makes me happy, and it's going in a positive direction.
I communicate with loved ones who have passed in order to bring through their messages, because until we're willing to face our old stories, they'll continue to have power over us. Our loved ones want to make sure that we live our lives to the fullest. So until next time, I'm Colette Baron-Reid with messages from Spirit.
I think it's great. I think it's bringing comfort to so many people, and especially in a time where you've got so many things on the news that are so negative. It's so nice to see something positive and to give people hope, and I think it's exactly what we need today, to have hope.
Each reading somehow has a connection to something that's happening in my life. So I kind of learn from what's the advice these people get.
I think it's great. I really love how Colette's down to earth, and she really seems like a real person up there and makes it very comfortable in the studio.
Oh, I think it's amazing. Colette definitely has an incredible gift, and I've followed her for years, in fact. And it's such a privilege to be here today, just to connect with the other side and to see how she delivers messages.
The specificity that she pinpoints something that with somebody that's out there, and it's so specific and so unique to that individual that and so unusual that there's no denying that there's some kind of real connection being made. It's really quite amazing.
It's wonderful. She's so truthful, and she's so helpful, and I like the concepts of healing and sort of bringing people hope.
The messages that she brings through are so beautiful and on such a spirit heart level. It's very moving. Anyways, it's just moving being in the audience, whether somebody comes through for me or not. It's just really nice to experience all this.
I think it's great. It's been just absolutely fascinating to see the messages that are coming through, and I find myself just touched and moved by every single person's experience, and it's mind-blowing, and it's amazing, and it's expanding people's perspectives, which is great.
It's just an amazing gift to see all these people having all these loved ones that have messages for them from beyond, and hopefully finding peace.
I'm absolutely loving Colette's show Messages from Spirit, because she's so precise and direct, and it always comes with a loving message, which is really nice. And I think it comes from her heart too. You can feel that.
Totally awesome. She's very talented, very gifted. Amazing to see people have breakthroughs. So not only are they getting great messages, but they're also getting some really good feedback.